Nerd Takes.
Nerd Takes.
Nerd Takes.
I'm Justin.
And I'm John.
And I'm Andrew.
And we are back again to do a Nerd Takes today to talk about a product we were able to procure while John and I visited Kentucky Peerless in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes.
You can kind of see the bottle in front of us. It's actually a single barrel. I'm going to... Oh, yeah, that's right. We were able to get it signed by the owner, Corky.
Corky.
We have a previous episode you can listen to talking about our experiences of all the distilleries we visited. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But let's actually break down this bottle that we were able to both of us purchase.
Yes.
And clearly I've opened it. And we're going to see what everyone thinks. And really more you, Andrew.
I'm excited.
You're the one who hasn't had
Yeah, you haven't
Yeah,
had
you guys-
this
you
one.
guys
And
keep
I haven't had in a few months, so yeah.
Talking this one up, so I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
So this is, again, the Kentucky Peerless Straight Rye Whiskey Single Barrel Selection. It's called Gingersnap. It's from the Kentucky Peerless Distillery. And here's a summary about Kentucky Peerless. Their identity as an artisan distillery is centered around its uncompromising quality and innovative nature. There is possibly no better exemplification of this than our single barrel program. Our team promotes only barrels of supreme quality and uniqueness for single barrel consideration. There's some pretty unique flavor profiles in this. And I could keep going on. They've got a lot of really cool stuff. They talk about like their process and kind of how they select their single barrels. But I think we're kind of here to get into the tasting and hear about what it's like.
Like the visual indicator, like they would put a star on the barrel. So when we walked around the rick house, there were a bunch of barrels with stars because they were like, yep, that's going to be something special. So we'll just let it marinate a little bit.
Yeah, and this is one of those. So there is no age. It's non-disclosed or no age statement. It has a proof of 109.9. The mash bill is also non-disclosed. So we're kind of going we're kind of jumping into this as far as I don't want to say blind, but for the most part, we don't really know. They're not telling everything, not giving us everything that's in actually this pick.
It's a lower rye mash bill, I think, based on what our tour guide said. So it's still a rye whiskey, but it's not like 80, 90% rye or 100% rye. So and then maybe that's why we probably gravitated to it a lot. But let's dive in.
So it's called, again, the Gingersnap, and it says a single barrel selection with natural notes of molasses, burnt honey, and ginger. This MSRP is for $75, and this is from their website. Color of deep amber, and the nose, and this is the nose for a traditional rye, so not necessarily the single barrel. Caramel with toasted oak, fruit notes of apple and orange. Nothing about the palate. Nothing about the finish. So
interesting.
Let's start with
Nice,
let's start with our guest. What are you getting on the nose?
So the first sniff for me was super sweet. Like I got the molasses right away. Yeah. I'm getting some. We tend to call it baking spices. So allspice.
Spices. Yep.
I'm getting a little bit of spice maybe on the nose, but I can't tell if that's pepper or ginger.
See, I got the ginger, and maybe maybe it's just like a mind
Well,
thing.
it could be a
because
little
it's
bit
called
of
Gingersnap, and you just said it, but like you said it, and I'm like, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't have read all those things, but definitely a lot of citrus for sure.
Yeah.
Along with just uber.
Like a little,
uber
and not
sweetness.
too much rye spice. Like not a lot of it. Yeah.
No, I didn't find it.
I stuck my nose like way down there, and I got did not get a giant whiff of ethanol and like a ton of pepper. I didn't, which you normally do get with ryes. What about the palate? What are we getting on that?
Oh no, I'll let you know in a second.
Besides just deliciousness,
Right.
I can say real quick, again, back to just the sweetness, but it's got like a really nice, there's something that cuts through it to where it's not just pure sugar, and it's also not crazy peppery, but it does have like a nice little, there's a lot of warmth kind of on the initial taste, but then as it kind of progresses through my mouth, I don't know, I think it's got a really great flavor to it. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean the sweetness isn't, to me it's not your typical bourbon, whatever, brown sugar, caramel, molasses, whatever. Like I'm getting a little bit of honey in there actually. And it dries out really quickly in terms of like not that the finish dries out, but it dries your mouth out really quickly. So it's sort of it leaves you wanting some more, which I think is pretty cool. The finish is quite long. Like I took a sip a little bit ago. It's still going. I don't have to take. Hold on.
What do you think, John?
I definitely got some black pepper. What? And almost like a wintergreen or like a spearmint. A little bit.
Yeah, I think now that you mentioned that, I do. It's and I get
That might not be the right. That might, but it's something like that. And I don't know if that's what's cutting through, but like it's some kind of like minty, earthy, some sweet something.
I got that same thing. I think that you said mint. Like I think it's a good better way to articulate. Like there was something about it to where like it didn't seem like a you're sucking on a sugar packet, or you're drinking molasses, or you're just eating a piece of ginger like you would like if you're eating sushi. There's just something that kind of goes through it that like almost like dampens all those usually powerful flavors. And I think you're right. It might be some type of minty, just freshness. I don't know. Like you said, like I don't know if mint's the right word, but
right. But it's something crisp and fresh and clean. Let me see.
Anything else? Like once you add some water to it?
So I'm getting some of the citrus now. Yeah, I added water to it.
So when I add water, like the mint kind of goes away. I didn't get it nearly as much on that sip.
It's still
after I
fresh
added water.
though. Like there's
It's
a
still fresh,
weird
but it's just
sort of
not
freshness
it's not,
to it. Not weird in a bad way, but just
weird
one I
way.
haven't had before.
It's light. it's like a, you know what I mean? Like it's not super, like some of them, the bourbons you might taste are super heavy, and it's like almost overwhelming to your whole palate. And I feel like this is just very kind of subtle, but very flavorful though. And like the finish is amazing, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do we want to give it a rating?
Yeah, let's give it a rating. Let's do it.
Okay. Do we want to hear from producer Justin
I'd like to
first
hear
and
what
see
Justin
if you have
says.
any thoughts about it?
No, I'm in general agreement with all of you. I like this. Spearmint is what I couldn't find the words. I kept thinking of winter fresh as I was going through it, like gum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel the mint coming through. It's good, but someone said the word fresh, and that resonated with how I feel about this. It tastes almost like it's like I'm eating something. It's like a very crisp, like crisp is the word I'm going to use. I'm going to edit all this out.
No, you can't.
Keep it in. Actually, it's in. On an episode before, we talked. There was I think it was one of the ECBP expressions. We talked about like, this is a winter bourbon. This is definitely a summer bourbon.
That's
summer whiskey.
Summer whiskey for
Summer
sure.
whiskey.
Like this, it's not very heavy. It's very approachable. It's got that freshness. This is a summer. If there is a seasonality, yeah,
I think there's seasonality. I think there are definitely, like, depending on what it is, like there's definitely things that you lean more towards winter and then summer. Because I mean, you could say the same thing about beer. There's winter beer, there's summer beer, there's fall beer
for sure.
So I think it goes without saying it goes for whiskey as well.
Yeah, I think it almost tastes like a Manhattan, like a pre-made Manhattan, with less orange flavor and more. Yeah, I guess like that freshness, sugar flavor. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's really good. I'm a big fan of it.
I'm a big fan.
Really good.
Well, let's do some ratings. So I guess I'll go first since this is the bottle that I brought. I'm going to go with a Stormtrooper Luke. I think that's a pretty good rating for me. Recently, I've been trying to be a little more harsh on things and not
A little conservative.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good. I mean, and I'm also taking into account the fact that this is $75, and I don't think you can get a type of rye or bourbon at nowadays that's $75 that has this depth of flavor to it. You got to spend a lot more money in order to accomplish that. For the most part, I think.
Agreed.
And also, I if I could somehow be a part of this single barrel program that they offer and kind of be in Louisville and try different ones that they would, their selections, 100% would join that. So that's me. That's my review. Stormtrooper Luke 8.
I'll echo that. Stormtrooper Luke 8 for me. It's a great whiskey. For $75, super kind of in my wheelhouse in terms of what I'm willing to spend on a bottle, but punches way above its weight. Yeah,
I'm going Sweaty Luke. 7.5.
It's good.
I think it's good. Like I mean, it's again like we tried everything that they had, and both of us walked out with this bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we enjoyed pretty much everything they had too, but like, I think it was the combination of this was surprising. Again, speaking for me, like I'm not a rye person. I think when I told you, it's like, yeah, I walked out with a single barrel rye. You were probably surprised the fact that I walked
Really?
out of a distillery where we literally tried everything they had, and I walked out with a rye. Was shocking, even for me. I think that had something to do with it, and also because of the exclusivity was a thing, because it was only something you could get at the distillery. You can't. That's not gonna be on shelves anywhere. So that was kind of part of it for me too.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better store picks I've been able to procure in a while. So.
A solid pick.
Yeah.
Producer Justin.
I'd probably agree. Sweaty Luke, 7.5. It's not my favorite, but I agree with Andrew. It's punching above its weight. $75 is right in the wheelhouse. I will note, we tasted everything when we were there. I did not walk out with one of these. I went with something else, and I should have bought yet another something else. So
that's beside the point.
That's beside the point right now. But yeah, but it's very good. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Awesome.
Good review. Kentucky Peerless. This is the Gingersnap. If you have a chance to get it, I think it's worth the purchase. I think we all agree.
If you're planning a trip to Louisville, definitely check out Peerless.
Or if you live in Louisville, go check it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, Nerd Takes.
Nerd Takes.
Nerd Takes.